It's me again, and today's date is October 7th, 2022. It's a Friday. Let me preface by saying this is not financial advice. This is entertainment. Hence, I wear a costume. Are you not entertained? I thought I would make a video for all of those who are new to this particular play known as MMTLP. I am collectively known as the Bird Lady. My name on Reddit was roller pigeons, plural, because I have roller pigeons and I like birds. And for a while, I had some farm videos on my YouTube channel, and it was named after an alpaca I had. And then I started making videos about the potential of oil and gas located within this play, MMTLP, and I thought I'd go with crazy hair and stuff because I'm a fun person and I have crazy hair anyways. And then I wore a bird suit and I became known as the Bird Lady, and I said, yes, this is it. This is my brand. I'm going with it. The people have spoken. So I'm the Bird Lady now. The people have made their choice. I'm the Bird Lady. I'm known for doing math, quantitative analytics on oil and gas plays. We look at how to estimate how much oil and gas is in a particular play. We go through, by we I mean my channel, we go through case studies. We use that to support our own research in the Orogrande. As a result, after doing some math time, I calculated out the dividend to be 29 to 46 plus an additional $3 to $14, anywhere in that range for the gas. The Orogrande, which is what MMTLP is all about. It's an oil and gas play in West Texas and Hudspeth County. It's estimated to have 3.2 billion barrels of oil and a lot of gas. How much gas, we don't know exactly. It could be, anywhere from 2 billion barrels of oil equivalent of gas, all the way up to, 4 billion barrels of oil equivalent in gas. A barrel oil equivalent in gas is 6,000 cubic feet. So if you want to math that out, that's many trillions of feet of natural gas. A lot of people will come to you, they'll come to me. People have been coming to me now for well over a year. I started doing the quantitative analytics quite a long time ago. It's almost at 2 years at this point that I started doing the quantitative analytics. Then I started posting on Reddit because people were interested, and I'd already done this research for a while. And then they said, hey, you should make some YouTube videos about it. So I did. And that's where we started. The YouTube videos more or less coincided with MMTLP coming out. But I had been doing Reddit posts about it. Anyhow, there's a lot of oil and gas there. A lot of people are going to tell you, well, why isn't anybody drilling out now? Why hasn't this property been, developed if it has all this oil and gas? To which I will say that there was some exploration and stuff done quite a bit ago. It was using more older technology. The technology itself has changed quite a bit. In the past 40 years, oil and gas technology has changed quite a bit. 40 years ago, nobody was doing unconventional plays and fracking, and now there's quite a bit of plays and fracking now. Growing up as a child, I was told that oil and gas was going to be disappeared by the time I'm this age. I get to this age and we're like, yeah, we got plenty of oil and gas here in America. Go USA, because we have all these new technologies to extract out oil and gas. We have inner well technology, such as valve technology, which can, allow for greater flow on a less lateral line, but that's getting boring into oil and gas. I've done quite a bit of oil and gas stuff. As a result, so we're looking at Orogrande here. That's the main play for MMTLP. It's quite a few well potential for this, over 3,000 well potentials on 134,000 acres. There's quite a bit of natural fracturing in the rock. I've looked at the well logs and I have videos of the well logs, and I show you what I think is the natural fracturing in the well logs that were available to me. That was public data available if you want to look at it. There has been quite a lot of research done on this. The two people involved in this are Masterson and McCabe. Greg McCabe is, known for oil plays. He also has a very good portfolio list of other investments, but he's quite known for oil plays. He's a geologist by trade. Rich Masterson was the discoverer of the Wolfbone play in the Permian Basin, so he's quite well known. Basically, Masterson and McCabe had this. They came into Torchlight. They had to deal with in the time they came on. Masterson and McCabe came on Torchlight right at the time of the OPEC deal of 2014, which, if you were here during that, that was very sad for a lot of people because a lot of people lost their jobs during the whole OPEC agreement. If you were new to the oil and gas, or you worked for a newer company, you were on the chopping block. And oops, and it was very sad. It was hard times for all of us. As a result, Torchlight kind of buckled down. They sold other assets. They kind of buckled down on this. They knew what they had. If there was no oil and gas, why wouldn't have they just sold this land? They focused on it. They focused on developing the property. So you can look at the well logs there and kind of match them up with the different pay zones because it does give depths. And if you kind of do your own little mapping there where you match the pay zones with the depths, you can start to see a good picture of what you have. That's, what I've been doing. Of course, I'm not going to bore you. I'm going to give you brass tacks. Personally, I think that using the math, 29 to 46 plus initial $3 to $14 per share of MMTLP / NextBridge is what you're going to get. I've mathed that out to take out closing costs, mathed that out for the specific cut of MMTLP, which is 66.5% of the deal. The deal, it turns out, excludes, according to the S1, the deal excludes any royalty holders. So the deal is going to be for 75% revenue interest and 100% of the working interest of property when it sells. A lot of people think that's bold to think when it sells, but I think the market's right for a sale. There's lots of mad dashes right now globally to get gas. Liquid natural gas is taking off, and a lot of companies are working hard at developing more liquid natural gas facilities to do some retail arbitrage. Henry Hub pricing here is like $9. You go over to Europe, it's, $54, right? Per 1,000 cubic feet. There's quite the retail arbitrage you can do, and it behooves a lot of companies right now to facilitate creating liquid natural gas and shipping it over there. The price is worth it. The next question you're going to tell me is well, why didn't oil companies buy this when there was 2020? That's not how oil companies work. They work on a profit margin and cash flow. When profit margins and cash flows are high, guess what they do? They buy back shares of the company. When, they get record profit, they buy back shares at high prices. It keeps the price of the oil company more stable. And then they have authorized shares that they're just holding on to. So if they want to go acquire something, an asset, we can do a stock swap sale, which is a tax-free event for us. Hooray for tax-free events. At any rate, like I said, I've been on this for quite some time, and the knowledge is there. I'm very excited and confident in this play. And as time marches on, my excitement has gotten only more increased. We're on a list of events. Right now, we're waiting for the SEC to approve the S1. They approved a couple other things, but we're waiting for them to approve the S1. Then we start the spin out, and MMTLP goes bye-bye. And we get shares in NextBridge. The NextBridge has already issued permits for the next 2022 drilling plan, and we're going to have a sale. The sale cannot happen until the spin-out happens. As I've talked about in a previous video, metamaterials can't have oil and gas in the books. Torchlight merged with Metamaterials back in 2021. This came at the time of the pandemic when a lot of oil companies were struggling. Torchlight's agreement to the merger was Meta gets the ticker symbol, and they can use that. They can get uplisted to the NASDAQ. Torchlight keeps their assets, and they sell them on their terms. And Meta agreed to that. And then the sales and the proceeds only go to the holders of the MMTLP Torchlight shares. The holders of Meta shares already got their end of the agreement. We are waiting on our end of the agreement. Torchlight has been trying to sell the Orogrande since 2019. That's when they started. They had good data sets. They had good well tests. There were some articles that came out saying they found a lot of oil and gas. They were primed to selling this. And then certain events in 2020 happened, which kind of plunged the market for a while. WTI fell, and it was more expensive to produce barrel oil. You'd lose money. I've talked about cost of goods sold on my channel. It was at 25 national average. Now the national average for cost of goods sold is $35 to $36 per barrel oil. So when oil was or $24 a barrel at the time, it would cost the company money to produce a barrel of oil. You would have sold it at a loss. Hence, a lot of companies shut down. So that's my channel. That's my story about the Orogrande. It's an oil and gas play. Unlike other stock prices that go through great volatility, this one is one on the OTC. The OTC does have halts, but the halts that it has are not volatility halts. I'll really emphasize that. The OTC market doesn't have volatility halts. It has other types of halts, which the SEC talks about, but it doesn't have the volatility halts that NASDAQ does. This doesn't give market makers time to catch up. 2, there's an actual commodity underlying this play. Underlying the security, there's an underlying commodity, oil and gas. It's quite the hot commodity right now. Gas is hot. Retail arbitrage. Winter is coming. I'm very excited about this. And I could go on and do the math. And maybe I'll do that, take some next videos. I'll take some of the well logs I talked about earlier, and we'll transpose that on a geology map of depth and going into where, these particular shale plays are. So price action going forward, as I said in my last video, I expect MMTLP to do this until the dates are put on the S1. And that's how you know the S1 is finally approved by the SEC. You will see dates listed on this page here. One of the first pages of the S1. Right now it says blank 2022. Once those dates are filled in, you're good to go. And then you'll really see MMTLP do this. There's limited quantities. There's 165 million outstanding shares. Really, it's like 165.5 million outstanding shares. Quite a few people are holding on to their shares. I have talked about my own personal strategies and price points on this, but this is my own personal blog. You're watching one bird's thoughts. I thought I'd give a little synopsis rundown of my channel and why I really like the Orogrande. It has Masterson McCabe. It now has Mike Zabrowski, who is pretty well known in the Bakken Shale. He did that for quite some time. He was like a star geologist up there. So you have quite a few geologists that have looked at this. You have Stimulation Petrophysics, who, does work for companies. You have, big companies. I think the market's right now for sale, and smart companies would be looking at this. Of course, as I said before, the world of oil and gas is hush hush. It's very hush hush. In the Shell and ConocoPhillips deal, there were 3 companies that were actively bidding on it. They were ConocoPhillips, Devon Energy, and Chevron were the 3 main companies that were vocally bidding on it. ConocoPhillips took control of the asset back in June of 2021. But you go to July and August of 2021, and media is still speculating on companies looking at this asset. It was not known that ConocoPhillips had taken control of the asset until the sale was announced and says, hey, ConocoPhillips is buying this. We expect to close out by December 2021. That deal was announced September 15th or 13th, 2021. The deal was closed in December, but ConocoPhillips had taken control of the asset prior to the sale. That was all hush-hush. And in fact, they never mentioned a potential buyer in the Shell earnings call that came out September 7th. It was the week of Labor Day. Shell had an earnings call. They didn't even mention ConocoPhillips in there or anybody taking control of the asset. That's how hush-hush oil is. And as Allie pointed out in the S1 mentions how secretive the world of oil and gas can be. That's it for today. I hope you enjoy my videos. I hope I didn't bore you to tears. Of course, I can ramble on. I will see you soon. Goodbye.